My friend, have you ever felt the weight of who you used to be? The old habits, the old thinking, the old fears that keep pulling you back? Life is constantly calling you forward, but you cannot step into the new while clinging to the old. Today, we will uncover the powerful truth about outgrowing the version of you that no longer serves your destiny. Are you ready to leave behind what was and rise into what's waiting for you? Breaking free from the prison of yesterday, what does that truly mean? It means refusing to be held hostage by the memories, the failures, the regrets, and even the successes of your past. You see, the greatest danger to your future is not always what lies ahead, but what you refuse to let go behind you. Too many people live chained to an old version of themselves, repeating old cycles, wearing old labels, and carrying old wounds. But hear me clearly, you cannot walk into a new season with the weight of an expired identity on your shoulders. The past is a place of reference, not residence. It is a classroom, not a prison. Yet so many keep revisiting what they should have left. Why? Because the past feels familiar. It feels safe. Even if it's painful, it's predictable. But growth, my friend, requires you to step into the unknown. It requires you to forgive yourself, release what no longer serves you, and stop rehearsing old stories that no longer define you. Don't let who you were yesterday dictate who you can become today. If you keep staring at the rearview mirror, you will miss the windshield that reveals where you're truly headed. And listen carefully, even your past victories can trap you. Yesterday's success is not today's assignment. You can't live off old achievements and expect new results. You must evolve because purpose demands a higher version of you. You are more than the sum of your mistakes, and you are more than the comfort of what you already know. The longer you stay attached to what was, the further you drift from what could be. So today, ask yourself, what do I need to release? What old labels have I allowed to cage me? What expired seasons am I still living in? Because if you don't break free from the prison of yesterday, you will never see the promise of tomorrow. And that's why the next key is so vital. Because once you step out of the past, you must confront something even more dangerous: the seductive trap of comfort. And comfort, oh yes, it can feel sweet, but it can also silently kill your potential. Comfort, it feels good, doesn't it? It whispers to you, stay where you are, don't stretch, don't risk, don't move. But let me tell you the truth, comfort is the greatest enemy of growth. Nothing new is born in comfort. Nothing extraordinary comes from the place of ease. Every time you choose to stay where it feels safe, you silently agree to limit your own potential. Comfort will convince you that you're okay, while deep inside your purpose is screaming for more. You were not created just to exist. You were designed to expand, to multiply, to evolve. Yet comfort will paralyze you with the illusion of satisfaction. You see, comfort is a trap. It doesn't look like a trap. It feels like peace. It feels like stability. But it's a slow poison. It keeps you in routines that no longer serve your destiny. It blinds you to opportunities. It makes you tolerate mediocrity. And it slowly steals your hunger for greater things. My friend, every time you avoid discomfort, you also avoid growth. Every time you choose the easy path, you step away from the path of purpose. Don't let a temporary feeling rob you of a permanent future. Think about it. Every major breakthrough in your life required you to leave something familiar. It required you to step into the unknown, to feel that tension between fear and faith. Growth is never born in the soil of comfort. It comes through stretching, through challenges, through taking risks that force you to evolve. The question is, what has comfort cost you? How many dreams have you delayed because you didn't want to feel the weight of change? How many opportunities have passed you by while you sat in the same place, telling yourself, I'm not ready yet? If you truly want to grow into your purpose, you must disrupt your comfort. You must dare to step out even when it feels inconvenient. Because comfort may feel like safety, but in reality, it is silent sabotage. And once you escape the trap of comfort, there is something even deeper you must confront: the battlefield of your mind. Because the next level of growth begins not around you, but within you. Everything begins in the mind. Every breakthrough, every limitation, every victory, every defeat. The mind is a true battlefield of growth. If you want to rise into purpose, you must first renew your thinking. Because listen carefully, you cannot live beyond the level of your thoughts. If your mind is trapped in old patterns, your life will keep producing old results. And this is why many try to change their lives without changing their minds, and they wonder why nothing shifts. Transformation always starts inside before it ever manifests outside. Your mind is like soil. It will grow whatever you plant in it. If you keep planting doubt, fear, and negativity, you will harvest insecurity and stagnation. But if you plant vision, belief, and wisdom, you will harvest clarity and purpose. That is why you must be intentional about what you feed your mind. What are you listening to? What are you watching? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Because everything you allow into your mind becomes a seed that will shape your destiny. You cannot rise with a defeated mindset. You cannot step into greatness with small thinking. To grow, you must elevate your perspective. And hear this, renewing your mind is not a one-time event. It's a daily discipline. You must challenge the lies you've believed about yourself. You must uproot limiting beliefs that told you what you cannot do, who you cannot be, what you cannot have. You must replace the noise of fear with a voice of truth. Because until your mind aligns with your purpose, your life will remain stuck in patterns you were never meant to live in. So ask yourself, what thoughts have you allowed to define you? What internal narratives have held you back from moving forward? Because your life will always move in the direction of your dominant thoughts. And once your mind is renewed, once your thinking is elevated, you will be ready for the next step: the shedding of the old identity. Because to embrace who you are becoming, you must let go of who you used to be. There comes a moment in life when you must make a bold decision to shed the old identity that no longer serves the person you are becoming. Because you cannot walk into a new season carrying an outdated version of yourself. Too many people are trapped in who they used to be, defined by past mistakes, shaped by old environments, and limited by labels that were never meant to last forever. But listen carefully, purpose requires a new identity, and you cannot embrace the future while clinging to the shadow of your past. Who you were yesterday was necessary for that time, but it is not sufficient for where you are going. Growth will demand that you release familiar roles, familiar masks, even familiar relationships that only recognize the old you. It will feel uncomfortable because the old identity feels safe. It feels predictable. It feels known. But safety is not destiny. You were not created to stay the same. Life will keep stretching you until the version of you that has expired finally falls away. And yes, it may feel like loss, but in reality, it is transformation. Sometimes shedding the old identity means letting go of the voices that told you who you couldn't be. It means unlearning the behaviors that kept you small. It means saying no to the labels for failure, unworthy, not enough, that you may have carried for years. You must strip off the weight of what was so you can step fully into what is waiting. Remember, the person you are becoming is hidden beneath the person you have been holding on to. So ask yourself today, what part of me must die for the real me to live? What version of me must I leave behind to unlock the next chapter of my purpose. Because until you release the old identity, the new one cannot emerge. And when you finally shed that skin, when you finally step out of the cocoon of who you used to be, you will discover a deeper freedom. But freedom alone is not enough, because the next step requires you to go even further. You must unlearn the limiting beliefs that silently shaped your entire life. There is something even more powerful than learning. It is unlearning. Because the truth is, many of the beliefs holding you back were not born from your true self. They were borrowed. Borrowed from your upbringing, borrowed from culture, borrowed from people who could only see you through the limits of their own experience. And without even realizing it, you've built a life around these silent limitations. But listen carefully. What you believe shapes what you expect, and what you expect shapes what you experience. So if you want to step into your purpose, you must confront and unlearn the lies that shaped your past. Some of these beliefs came from pain. Someone told you you're not good enough, and you believed it. Someone said, people like you don't succeed, and you accepted it. Society whispered, stay in your lane. Don't dream too big. Don't reach too far. And over time, those voices became your inner dialogue. But hear me clearly. Just because it was spoken over you doesn't mean it was meant for you. Not every thought you've carried deserves to remain in your mind. You have the power to uproot it, to rewrite it, to replace it with truth. Unlearning is not easy. It requires humility. It requires the courage to question everything you've assumed about yourself. It requires you to separate fact from fear, truth from tradition, destiny from distraction. But until you unlearn, you cannot truly grow. You can acquire all the new information in the world, but if it is poured into a container filled with old, toxic beliefs, it will never take root. The foundation must be cleared before the new can be built. So ask yourself, what limiting beliefs have you carried for too long? What invisible ceilings have you accepted as normal? What lies have become so familiar, you mistake them for truth? Because when you break free from those hidden chains, your mind becomes limitless, your heart becomes open, and your vision becomes clear. But breaking free internally is just the beginning, because after your mind is renewed, there's an even greater shift. You must move from merely surviving life to truly living a life of significance. There is a difference between survival and significance. Survival is about getting through the day. It is about meeting basic needs, staying comfortable, avoiding pain. But significance is about impact, about legacy, about living beyond yourself. Too many people spend their entire lives in survival mode, waking up, working, paying bills, and repeating the cycle. But deep inside, there is a voice saying, there must be more than this. And that voice is right. You're never meant to simply exist. You were created to make a difference, to leave a mark that time cannot erase. Survival keeps you focused on yourself, but significance shifts your focus outward. It asks, who am I serving? What value am I creating? What will remain when I am gone? Purpose is never about just you. It's about the lives connected to yours. But as long as you live only for survival, you will never unlock the power of true fulfillment. You may have success, you may accumulate things, but without significance, even success feels empty, because purpose is the fuel that makes life meaningful. And here's the truth. Transitioning from survival to significance will require sacrifice. It will demand a higher standard. It will call you to give more than you receive. It will stretch you to think beyond comfort, beyond fear, beyond selfish ambition. But when you make that shift, everything changes. Your work gains meaning. Your challenges gain purpose. Your life becomes bigger than you. And in that space, you experience the freedom that survival could never give you. So ask yourself today, am I merely surviving or am I living with significance? Am I just passing through time or am I shaping it? Because the world is waiting for the gift that only you carry. But to give that gift, you must first discover who you were truly designed to be. And that takes us to the next step on this journey, becoming the highest, truest version of yourself. The person you were always destined to become. There is a version of you that the world has not yet seen, a higher version, a truer version, a version not shaped by fear, not limited by doubt, not defined by the past. That version of you is hidden beneath the layers of who you were told to be, beneath the expectations of others, beneath the masks you've worn just to fit in. Becoming who you were designed to be is not about creating something new. It is about uncovering what has always been there. It is about aligning your life with the original blueprint placed within you from the very beginning. You see, purpose is never outside of you. It has always been inside, waiting for you to wake up to it. But here's the challenge. You cannot step into that true self without courage. Because the real you may disrupt the image others have of you. The real you may challenge the comfort of your surroundings. The real you may require you to leave behind people, places, and patterns that are too small for where you're going. But hear this, if you keep living as a version of yourself that keeps others comfortable, you'll never experience the freedom of authenticity. Becoming who you were designed to be requires surrender. It means releasing the need for approval. It means embracing your uniqueness, even when it is misunderstood. It means walking boldly in the gifts, the strengths, the vision that has been entrusted to you. And when you begin to live as your truest self, everything shifts. Your relationships aligned, your work gains meaning, and your days are filled with a sense of direction that cannot be shaken because you are finally living as you were meant to live. So let me ask you, who are you beneath the noise, beneath the expectations, beneath the fear? When you peel back every layer, who is the person you are born to be? That is the person the world is waiting for. But even as you embrace your true identity, there is still one more thing to confront: the fear that stands between you and the life you were destined to live. Fear, it is one of the greatest barriers between where you are and where you are meant to be. Fear will whisper 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't move, why you shouldn't try, why you shouldn't believe. It will magnify the risks and minimize the rewards. It will tell you, what if you fail? What if you lose everything? What if you're not enough? But listen carefully, fear is a liar. Fear is not there to protect your destiny. It is there to delay it. And every time you bow to fear, you shrink a little more into a life that was never meant for you. Do you know why fear feels so strong? Because it's tied to the unknown. We fear what we cannot see, what we cannot control. But purpose always calls you into the unknown. It always pulls you into a place where faith must lead and comfort cannot follow. The life you dream of, the impact you were born for, the destiny that is waiting for you, it all exists on the other side of fear. Which means the only way to truly live is to move forward even when you're afraid. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that fear will not have the final say. Courage says, yes, I feel it, but I will not stop. Courage says, yes, it's uncertain, but I will step anyway. Courage says, even if I fail, I will rise again. Because every time you choose courage over fear, you break another chain. You open another door. You unlock another piece of the life you were meant to live. Fear loses its power the moment you confront it with action. So what is fear stopping you from doing right now? What dream has been waiting on the other side of your hesitation? What version of you is still trapped because you keep waiting for the fear to disappear? It won't disappear. You must move in spite of it. And when you do, you will discover a freedom greater than you've ever known. Because growth is not about who you were, it's about who you're becoming. So my friend, this is the call. Break free from the prison of yesterday. Step beyond the trap of comfort. Renew your mind. Shed the old identity. Unlearn the lies. Live with significance. Embrace your true self. And rise above fear. Because the world is waiting for the version of you that is fully alive. The version of you that walks boldly into purpose. The version of you that leaves a legacy that time cannot erase. Your next chapter is calling. Will you answer?